Give it to Anna. Anna's flag is going to now.
Good morning, everybody. I'd like to welcome the people of the condominium here to the celebration of the 64th Republic Day. It's a beautiful day and it's nice to see a good gathering here this morning. We'd like to kick off the celebrations with the unfurling of the flag, and I'd like to request Mr. Ganapathy to come forward and do the honors. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
I would like to thank the people here for gathering and also for this great opportunity to be a part of this celebration. This is, this being the 64th Republic Day, also the 25th anniversary, 25th year of our condominium in existence, the celebration for which we had, as we were all a part of it a few months ago. And it's also good to see Mr. Desikan here, who is now a part of our community. He was, I'm not sure if most of you know him, I remember as a little kid that when my father was in the process of purchasing the property that he lives here, and I used to see this letter from Samyukta Bharat Cooperative Society with his name on it. Right? That was my first memory of Mr. Desikan. Now we are lucky to have him as a part of our society. He now is a resident and also incidentally a brother of Mr. Venugopal Iyengar. So welcome, sir, welcome to the society. You know, I was told to give a speech, but what I was thinking about this, and what I thought was from that also, right? 26th January 1950 was the day when India became a sovereign socialist democratic republic, right? This is the day when we first got our president. Babu Rajendra Prasad was sworn in as the president of the country. The reason 26th January was chosen was this was the day in the year 1930 that the Declaration of Independence was adopted by the Congress Party and the other parties that were gearing up for the fight for independence. Also, our constitution that was adopted on 26 January 1950 is the longest constitution in the world. Hand calligraphed, and there are two copies of that exist. Two versions rather, one in Hindi, one in English. And both of these today, the original versions with gold decorations, are actually stored in a helium-filled balloon-like structure to prevent the paper from deteriorating, and it is today in the parliament. Right? Also, what I thought was interesting about the whole about India being declared a republic on the 26th of January 1950 was that we all know that we got our independence on 15th of August 1947, but we got our first president on 26th of January 1950. The period between independence and when we were declared a republic, we had C. Rajagopalachari as the Governor General of India, and we had a Prime Minister of our own, but King George VI was still officially the head of state. This is, I don't know, to a lot of people it's not a very well-known fact, right? Because we all think that, hey, once you're an independent country, you have your own government, but since the constitution was not adopted by that time, we were still a dominion of the British monarchy, and King George VI was still the head of state. So these are all some, I thought, were some interesting facts, and not very well known, but maybe it may be an opportunity for us to know a little bit more about our Independence Day, right? So that being said, sorry, marvels of modern technology. So that being said, I also want to take this opportunity, since we have a gathering here, to give a brief update on some of the projects that are happening here, because I know that a lot of the residents here have been put through a lot of difficulty over a period of time, right? I mean, we've been stuck for sometimes a period of over 10 to 12 hours during the day with no power. There are days when residents have to go without water, sometimes one bathroom, sometimes two bathrooms, sometimes kitchen, right? When will this all end? Yes, we are working on it, and I get asked this question all the time, right? When I'm walking around and, hey, what's going on? This is a project, these projects are supposed to have been kicked off, I don't know, a year ago, 2 years ago, where are we with it? Just a brief update and I will conclude. So right now, in regards to the electrical project, 2 buildings are complete, A and D. And B will be completed by the 7th of February, because the material is almost here, and during that time, again, residents of B block will be put through some difficulty when power will be shut down. With respect to the water project, the plumbing project, B is complete, A is complete, C is in progress. This is also expected to be completed in about a week's time. And then after that, we expect both these projects to conclude by 7th of March. Right, in about, let's say, in about 6 weeks, we will all be done, hopefully, all the issues that we've been facing. And once again, on behalf of the society, for all the inconvenience that was caused to the residents, and will be caused, I know will be caused over the next 6 weeks, we are sorry, thank you for your cooperation, and we'll try to keep it to a minimum. And hopefully we will conclude these things and move on to bigger and better things. Right? With that being said, once again, I'd like to thank everyone for coming here, and I'd like to turn it over to voluntary speakers. Probably Mr. Shastri, would you like to address the gathering? Please. Thank you.
Just to add in something, because I'm a history buff myself, to add to Hari's, what is this period from 47 to 50, the old timers will remember, it was a dominion status, and in that limbo period, the paisa coin had a hole in it, because they had to remove the king's image from that. So everything else, but it is a hole. If you remember that paisa with the hole, that was the reason perhaps. The old timers will hole in it. Friends, these days, of course, I'm timing myself. I'm very particular about my timings. Today is the birthday of our Constitution, and I'm going to play a slightly discounted note on the way our republic, the Constitution, etc. And what I'm going to say in a few words is not nothing new. Friends, now many people have started thinking the validity of the parliamentary nature of our Constitution. Has it really worked? Has it really worked? Has it really delivered? Many politicians, headed by Mr. Shashi Tharoor, have also started this. Has time come to take a look at and possible transition to a presidential form of government? Now, it's a very vast topic. You can't listen, but I'll give 2 or 3. I, for one, am a believer that in a country like India, our presidential system could be a better system to deliver goods. Just 3 or 4 arguments I'll give in favor of it, because we don't have time. The first thing, today, every politician accepts the fact that no single party can now win or come to power. So the era of coalition politics has already dawned. And you have coalition politics, number one is instability. a group of ministers, discordant ministers who are disgruntled with either the portfolios or whatever reason they switch over and the whole government comes into jeopardy. It is destabilized. Now, this kind of unstable behavior, first of all, instability itself is very bad. Second thing is, because this coalition politics, which has come to stay, there are compromises everywhere. The party which is ruling, sort of a leading coalition party, has to deviate from its manifesto. All the award principles, everything, even go by to please its what you call coalition partners. So what happens? It only results in policy paralysis. Now look at it. I know it's idealistic way to talk, but in a presidential form of government, such thing can never happen. Let's take, the American Constitution, for instance, the equally democratic Constitution, when president is elected, he's there for 5 years. He cannot be just removed. The government cannot be destabilized because some senators are disgruntled with, say, over policies. They cannot destabilize it. President can be removed only through impeachment process, which is also on the grounds of moral turpitude and other things. The thing process which was used both either in Nixon's case or in the case of Clinton. So he's there for 5 years and he can relentlessly pursue his policies without any such apprehensions that your coalition partners. So stability, and this is the major factor. Second factor is the sheer size of government. Friends, today we have abundant ministries, and we create ministries not necessarily based on merits, but because you have to please your coalition partners. Just to give an example of Karnataka government, a very, very ridiculous might sound. In say, you take Department of Education, there is one minister and ministry for primary education, another minister and ministry for secondary education, third minister and ministry for medical education, and fourth minister and minister for technical education. Now when these ministers come, they don't come alone. They also bring along with this retinue of joint secretary, under secretary, and the cost of governance goes up. Today, it's a common news, and not that I'm saying anything new. Cost of governance, cost of administration average 50 to 75%. Meaning, whatever is your total expenditure, 50 to 75% in conservative level is spent only on payment of salaries and endowments. So what is left for the government for the development? And in cases, northeastern states, the expenditure, this kind of a cost of governance goes up to 100%. Because there is no other revenue there. So government is only economic activity. So 100% of their expenditure goes in maintaining the government. Now why this? Because you go on expanding ministry, go on this. No, this will not happen in presidential form of government because president he didn't elect, but he nominates, he chooses his based on merit. And that's why he can induct, he has a right to induct people based on the merit. Merit, history is literally like Kennedy brought in McNamara, so many people. I can go on reeling out names. Geithner, who just put as a finance secretary of Obama. He was the #1 man on Wall Street. So such induction of merit is possible under presidential form of government. Here the ministries are dished out. Either to please your coalition partners or to keep their nuisance value down. Because Sharad Pawar and Mamata Bannerjee, whatever this thing, were making a lot of money, so you give them some ministry. So they keep quiet, and this becomes the basis of your governance. So, not only cost of governance can be reduced under presidential government, but you can induce merit there. And third, very important, briefly, is this corruption factor. So today, corruption takes place because the legislators, there is no separation of power between legislature and executive. The legislators become executive compulsory. The executive or the council of ministers have to be politicians, have to be elected. Otherwise, they will not be ministers. Even if they are elected without election, later on they have to get nominated either from Rajya Sabha or fight elections. In US, the presidential system, executive or minister cannot be a legislator. He has to resign his Senate seat. So again, and now majority of the corruption comes at the ministerial or executive level. We, being a legislator, I'm not saying you will be able to eliminate corruption altogether, but you can minimize this by having this kind of system. So I know the topic is very, very large, this cannot go on, and it's a very contentious topic, but I thought I would share my views. And I think the time has come for all the right-thinking people in raising a voice, and whether see that we can, if not now, it's about 10, 15, 20 years time, presidential form of government. Thank you.
Again, good morning to everybody. See, our Shastri has talked about the macro level. See, at the governmental level, at the ministry level, and all these things. But now, when you see around, there are a lot of problems, a lot of violence. Starting from the house to the caste, to the race, to the religion, and to the nation. All are now spreading, and every day in the newspaper you see something or the other. Here there is murder, and your family has been murdered, and all that. What is the reason for this? Let anybody go into the reason of this. The reason is the parentage of these people are not properly done. Their work they have not been done. Therefore, what I request, now the family system also has become a unitary family. The combined family is no more there. The big family is no more there. Therefore, everybody becomes more selfish. Everybody wants to live for himself. There is no give and take. There is no adjustment, which is very essential for the societal living. And that is the requirement of a republic in the sense freedom. Freedom means not freedom to yourself. Freedom means interdependence. You have to depend on each other for everything. You have to get the assistance from everybody. You have to get help from the everybody. This has to be taught to the children from the very beginning, because the big family system has gone, which automatically brings this idea in the family. Now the family has become unitary. There is no uncle, no aunt. Only one is there, either uncle or aunt. This is the type of, and in course of time people will forget who is a brother. If that is the situation, then what you have to do, what the society has to do, what every parent has to do. The responsibility on the parents are more now to bring up the children and make them live together in a condominium like us, where we have seen the children playing with each other, and give and take must be there, and adjustment be there. If this has been brought out at the very set, from the very beginning of the children's growth, these things will never happen. Thank you.
Having listened to the innovative suggestions from Shastri, and of course the main background requirement which has been covered by Doctor, I thought I placed before you a couple of points. The presidential system, I am an admirer of our own constitution. The presidential system in the US has not really resulted in making America the foremost powerful country it was. It has been almost brought down to a level of a third world country by subprime lending and all that, which is because of the lack of proper institutional performance. They were an institution, they did not perform. And the president did do nothing about it. And he had an Iraq war which was not really required. So the basic point is, every system has got its own plus point or minus point. Our constitution, by and large, is one of the best in the world. And I think as long as the constitution is upheld, we don't have to worry about our future. But the main point which comes is, any government which comes must ensure good governance and rule of law. If these two are not done, any system you'll have a problem, whether it's dictatorial, whether it's presidential, or democratic. I mean, for example, Japan is a democratic country. Almost every prime minister resigns because the highest corruption at that level. So basic point which comes is, like, after a long time, Haryana's chief minister and his son have been sent to jail. This is a great important thing that has happened in a democratic system. Only problem is it's taken decades, years. So what we need is almost instant justice. Then rule of law will be ensured. If rule of law is ensured, good governance also will come. all these people who are making coalition politics, pulling each other different way to make their own money and all the business, they'll all be going to bed. Even if your CBI is under the control of Prime Minister, it won't help if justice is passed. So this is one of the things I think that we should ensure that probably it will come thanks to the unfortunate incident that happened in Delhi of that rape. Because of that, former Chief Justice Verma has brought out a stinging this one about what has happened, and hopefully his report will be taken into account and there will be a system. If you can bring such a system all over, our rule of law is ensured. I don't think we have to worry at all. This is a great country, we always will be thriving, we don't have to worry about it. Whoever be the politician will be taken care of. Thank you.
But I thought we should come down from the national level to SKCK level. My family moved into this complex 23 years ago, but it was a very different complex. Only a handful of senior citizens were there. Enthusiastic and energetic middle agers formed the dominant group. And there was an army of teenagers. One year when my wife was coaching girls to sing at Dasara, more than 12 teenage girls turned up. And another year, the New Year celebrations, when housing was going on here, I counted 10 or 11 teenage boys quietly slipping out of the gate to have their own party. And in another year, during Dasara, when Dadia was going on, I counted 34 pairs of energetic legs stomping around this quadrangle, led by the enthusiastic Rajani Shankar, and the crowd included a boisterous Sardaji. All these scenes you cannot see today. The demographics have changed. Now we have enough senior citizens to set up a viable senior citizens home. The middle-aged group has a little dwindled. A number of young families have moved in. And it's a sight in the evenings to see more than a dozen young kids shrieking and shuffling around here with their moms in tow. It's a beautiful sight. But I miss the teenagers. The teenagers brought grace and energy to this complex. So there have been changes in the demographics. There have been other changes also. The founding fathers have done us a great service by building a complex which is as strong as Tipu's fort. And our walls are a despair for any carpenter who tries to drive a nail. We must be ever grateful to them for this great complex they have bequeathed to us. But when it comes to maintenance, improving things, there was a little bit of a lag. And over a period of time, the complex started sporting a worn-out look. Personally, end of this last century, I had sometimes walk up to 5 floors on 8 to 10 days a month. And there were occasions when guests who came to meet us went away from basement because they didn't have mini mountaineering skills. So even otherwise the complex was getting a little worn down. But now 6 years ago there was a kind of revolution when General Sultan and a new group of people took over the reins. To be fair to the old set, I must tell you that all of us, the old guard, including myself, came from a government background. We always carry a little bit of government audit mentality. I remember, even to get a 50 or 100 rupees increase in the maintenance charges, it was an ordeal in the AGMs. But the new group came from a largely non-governmental background and brought a new mindset. And they seem to think nothing of 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 15 lakhs projects, as Hari was telling us. In the olden days, it was unthinkable. And what is marvelous is the same general body which used to crib and cabine about 50 rupees increase and 100 rupees increase was able to open his purse and shell out thousands of rupees without batting an eyelid. Now, thanks to that, I don't have to do mountaineering these days, and the complex has also got greatly spruced up. So to cut short my description of this complex history, there have been changes. Some of them have been to my liking, some of them not to my liking. But some things have never changed. The spirit of willingness, camaraderie, willingness to help each other, and almost total lack of bickering and backstabbing, which is an extraordinary feature of this community, all of which I would call as the spirit of SKCK, that has not changed. That spirit was there in the olden days when Yergamodu Subramaniam and late Bhaskar Rao led the community. It was there when in the middle years when Shastri and the late Venkateshan were holding forth, and is very much present in today's young generation with General Sultan and Hari in charge. Men may come and men may go, many changes will take place. I am sure the spirit of SKCK will live on forever. On this Republic Day, only thought which came to me is, if only the spirit of SKCK can permeate the body politics of this country, what a great change it could make for the country. Thank you.